Partial Discharge Academy of Optics 11. In this academy, we show you the partial discharge phenomena, physics behind that, industrial materials, and what you want to know about the partial discharge as an electrical engineer that will work with the high voltage asset. I am Hamid Hashemi, partial discharge lead at Optics 11. My background is about high voltage engineering and partial discharge test in laboratory and also on site and field testing. If you want to know about the partial discharge, you find some materials that they are so generic, and sometimes some materials are so industrial and specific. And you cannot find the relationship between the generic materials and very detailed document that you need for a test of the equipment that you use in power system and high voltage and critical asset. In these materials and educational sessions, we show you the concepts, the principles, the theory, the mathematical models, and the complete information that you need about the partial discharge. The first question that you should answer is definition of the partial discharge. What is partial discharge or PD? In IEC standard 60270, you find the definition of the partial discharge. Partial discharge is a localized breakdown or discharge that partially bridge the insulation materials between two electrodes. And it is important to know the breakdown and discharge. If you have two electrodes and there are some materials and insulation between the electrodes, there are some withstand related to the materials. And if the materials can withstand the applied voltage, there is not electric discharge or flashover. And if the material cannot withstand, you have a discharge or breakdown or flashover, that it will be with the energy, high energy, sound and light. The partial discharge is generally and physically similar to the discharge or flashover or breakdown, but it is partially, and the energy and the impact of that compared to the electrical discharge and breakdown will be lower. But over the time, you will expose to the failure of the high voltage asset, and it is important to detect the partial discharge in the early stage. Now you know the definition of the partial discharge. It means you apply the voltage to the dielectric and insulation materials, and the electric field in some part and some portion of the materials of the dielectric and insulation material is higher because of the bubbles, maybe because of the cracking, maybe because of the contamination that occurs, or maybe in the sharpness or border or margins of the equipment that you have. And by the partial discharge, you will have the local discharge that deteriorate the dielectric and quality of the materials and equipment that you want to use. And over the time, it fails because of that. The partial discharge is so important in all electrical equipment, but in the high voltage and medium voltage will be more important. In this IEC standard 61140, you will find the definition of the LV and HV, and in another standard that you see on the board, you can find the definition of the LV, MV, HV, and extra high voltage. In next episode, we try to show the details of the high voltage, low voltage, medium voltage, and different categorization of the voltage in power system. Thanks for your attention. In this session, we showed you the definition of the partial discharge, the definition of the PD in IEC 6270 standard, and the definition of the low voltage, high voltage, medium voltage, and different level of the voltage of the power system in IEC 61140 and 638. And in next time, we cover the details of the categorization of the voltage in power system and theory of the partial discharge. See you